contest here, fellow Toastmaster and guests, good evening. The title of my speech is Playing with Fire. So today I will be showing you a trick using fire. I'm just kidding. I will be telling you a story about myself. So, and although this is a humorous speech competition, my story has a bit of a sad ending. But don't worry, the ending is sad only for me. So don't mind and laugh to your heart's content. Now, there are a lot of stories and myths about how man first discovered fire. And you must have heard at least one version of that story. So today I will tell you how I discovered fire. Now, because as Joey Tribbiani and Chandler Bing said in Friends, man are here, we make fire. So, imagine a 6-year-old child is told to stay away from matchbox and not to play with fire. What is he going to do? Obviously, he will do exactly what he is told not to do. He will go to the kitchen and pick a matchbox. Now, let me set the scene for you. At our home, we used to have these huge stacks of newspaper collected after every few days. So, and whenever a Rati paper wala used to pass by, we used to give this newspaper stacks to the Rati paper wala. Now, a lot of time has passed and the Rati paper wala had not come, so now we had 3 to 4 huge stacks of newspaper piling on our home. So, that was the case. Now, I thought, now I still had not learned the art of lighting a match and keep the fire burning. So every time I lit a match, the wind would blow on it and the fire would extinguish. Now what to do? Now let me think. Oh, an idea, an epiphany. How about putting the fire on the newspaper? So I lit a match and put it at the corner of the newspaper. Now I wasn't a complete idiot. So as the fire started spreading, I blew on it and the fire would extinguish. So what I would do, I would lit a match as the fire and put it at the corner of the newspaper, and as the newspaper would start burning, I would blow on it and then I would repeat it again and again. So while I was doing this, my mother, who had not seen me for some time, was really worried and wanted to know what was I up to. So she called, Mohsin, kya kar rahe ho? And I got really scared. So I ran back to her and acted as if everything is normal. Now, after some time passed, I decided, okay, it's time to return to my game, which now I call Playing with Fire. So, when I returned to the newspaper stack with my matchbox, to my horror, all of the newspapers were on fire. 3 to 4 huge stacks of newspaper on fire. Now what to do? Now I didn't have the courage at that time to go to my mother and tell her, look, you told me not to play with fire and I played with fire and now even our home is on fire. So as any intelligent man would do, I decided, okay, it's time. I decided to run away, because my rationale being that if I'm not present at the scene of crime, then most probably I didn't do the crime. So I was on the first floor and I thought that let's go down the stairs. So while I was going down the stairs, I saw my dada coming up the stairs. So at that, my grandfather. Now at that time, when I saw the fire, I knew I was in trouble. But when I saw my dada coming up the stairs, I knew I was a goner. Because there are 2 things to know. The first thing is that my grandfather never came up the stairs. He always stays down the stairs and he went to masjid from there, so he never came up the stairs. So that was the first thing. The second thing I will tell you in a little bit. When I decided going down the stairs, he was coming upstairs. So I decided, okay, it's time to run to upstairs again. So when I started going upstairs, my father unfortunately caught me, and while I was running, he gave me a karate chop. And that's the only thing I remember, and because I started crying after that. So that was a bit of an unfortunate thing. So the 2 things that I was telling, the first is that my grandfather never came up. The second is that he never gave me a beating. So that's the only time when he gave me a beating. He came up and he gave me a beating. So after that, the fire, the fire was extinguished. My uncle extinguished the fire, and so the moral of the story about this is that kids, don't play with fire, because I don't know if you will get burned or not burned, but I'm pretty sure you will get a thrashing of a lifetime. So thank you.